Hey, welcome to the developers meeting on Sunday, the 2nd of October 22. We have several topics for today. I want to first start with a kind of an update of every one of you, so that every one of you just says where she is right standing and working on what and having what difficulties or need or what have you. Just giving an update so that we also have that on record, and just to give the update also to all the other developers who do not show up today, so that we all know more or less where we are. And the second part, I want to focus on the paper that we all worked on right now. It's the list of questions and topics that we want to address to Pierre-Luc. I hope you all know that next week the developer meeting has a special guest. It's Pierre-Luc Saint-Charles. He is a Canadian working at the university, as far as I know, and he's has written several books about machine vision, motion detection, machine learning, and all that stuff. So everything that concerns us, he is a specialist for. So Mike found him, and he agreed to hold a meeting with us so that we, for 1 hour, can squeeze him with our questions. And the idea is now that we prepare.
This is next week?
Next weekend, yeah. Next Sunday. Okay, not today, it's next Sunday. So, yeah, then, do you have all access to this paper, or shall I repost the link?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so every one of you has access to the paper, right? Ido?
Yeah. Where did you post it in the first place?
Michael, you don't have access?
Where'd you post it?
On Drive.
Well, where did you post it?
Did I post it in Hangout? Hold on. Oh, it's a while ago.
Yes, it was a Hangout.
I repost the link. I'll paste it in Hangout. Is it okay for you? I actually could. Yeah, I posted it in Hangout anyhow. So anyhow, this is something I want to discuss afterwards. I just want to give you that, make sure that you all have access and can add and contribute to that paper. But first, I want to start with a short update on where we stand, and just to get the ball rolling, I start with some things that we worked on the enclosure part. So what we now have is 15 enclosures on the 3.7 out, and the 3.8 is about to come. What we else need on these enclosures is extra material, like 3D printed parts. So we designed a PSU Tower that holds the power supply over the air outlet, so that all these things work, that the air goes out and you have it mounted inside on a tower, that it's not floating around inside the enclosure. So the tower is there. The second thing is, hold on a sec, it's the this vent duct. When you have a board underneath and there's the fan on top of the processor, it produces an airstream upwards. And the power supply has a horizontal airstream. So what we did is we make a little vent duct that ducts the vent into the PSU and directly out. So the vent duct is one of these parts. And the third part is the door situation on the enclosure 3.7. The idea was to go with hinges. What we found out is that due to the material thickness, or the not so thick material on the walls as expected, it's just about 2 to 3 millimeters thickness instead of 5 millimeter. The walls are not stable enough to be able to have a door that you can use on a hinge, because if these hinges are not perfectly aligned and you get a little bit of an angle in between, just a little bit, you have stress when you open the door. You get a stress on the structure, and that deforms the structure. So that's all a mess. We go away from the hinges. We do not do hinges anymore. So you guys that you already have the 3.7, please put your hinges on the side. Forget about the humps above the door. What I did is I used the door as a hatch. I made a video on it, and I hope to cut it as soon as possible so that you can see how I did it. I can show you. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. So this is the door. There were the holes that I made, so please forget about the holes, okay? I put seal in them. I put magnetic tapes on the long rims and some sealing on the short rims. The thing is, the door, when you get it, the 3.7, when you received it, when the 3.7, when you received it, the door does not have this inside thick rim. It is thinner. It has only 2 to 3 millimeters. And that's why we 3D print a frame that's a plastic frame inside on all four sides. So it's a frame that fits exactly into the door and widens this rim here. So this becomes wider and this becomes wider. And because this is wider now, it takes the whole area of this magnetic tape. I put a link on the curated list of hardware. This magnetic tape comes in A+B form because they all have adhesive tape on the underneath on the other side. So if you take just one with one polarity, you cannot bond them. You cannot use them on the door, like on the wall and the other part on the door. It would not bond. So you use A+B magnet strips. They cost, I think, $15 to $20, something like this. And it works nicely. So you take the door, you put it on, and it sucks itself on the wall. So this is the third part, the door frame that you get, because you need that in order to mount anything around that rim. The next version, the 3.8 version, will already have that rim built in from the producer. He will cut out and shape that. He does CNC cutting and he takes these plastics and put them in and glue them so that when we get the new doors, the 3.8 doors, the rim is already there. You just take the magnetic strips, put them on. It's just for the 3.7 enclosures that are out that for these 15, we print these materials and send to you. So you will receive in the near future 3 printable parts that we send to you. Okay, you just can use them and put them in. And on the last note, we're now working on the adapter for the camera because the camera has the optic on top of it, and these have to be in a certain distance to each other. And this adapter also works as the mounting adapter to hold the camera in place inside the tower. So
show the image.
I can show the image. I can show the image if you want to. So this is the adapter. I have to share my screen, of course. All right, here we go. So this is the, do you see my mouse smooth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are the 3 holes on the 3 sides that you see on the tower, on your enclosure. And this on top comes the optic, and underneath comes the camera. And there are these holes that you put in these screws that it fit, that it bites into the camera and holds it in place. So the camera is actually hanging inside this adapter, and the optic sits on top of it. This material will come in white ASA because there's only the dome on top of that. It's like this one. So there's only the dome, and when sunlight goes through the dome and hits the white plastic, we have to take care that this plastic is not degrading. every plastic is degrading, but it is not degrading quickly, and that's
Yeah,
why. Pardon me?
because that will accelerate. That will accelerate through the acrylic.
Yeah.
The UV spray will accelerate through the acrylic.
We have experience now for 5 years with that type of ASA, and it's those 5 years it has been stable. A friend of mine has a father that is involved in wind power, and his son produced enclosures for the weather station, and these are in a height between 150 meters to something above, and all the year uncovered outside, and they didn't show any sign of degradation within the last 5 years. They take it down every year to look over them and do some kind of revision, but they didn't had any changes in the last 5 years. So we have experience with this material.
Got it.
Okay, so yeah, this one is ASA, and underneath where my mouse is right now, this is the ABS, so there should not be any issue with degrading plastics. And that's an acrylic dome on top of it. So Ido, the inside diameter should be 5 inch, and the outside diameter depends on the flange, and it is mostly a 1/2 inch width. And I used this dome, the 5-inch dome, from that link on the crate list, and I put it on my tower, and it is exactly as I showed you on signal. When you lift it a little bit, 1 millimeter, let's say, where it at the end is in place, then actually 5 millimeter from the top surface of the tower.
Yeah.
Then it equals out with the rim here. So this rim of the flange should equal out with that rim here of the tower. That should be one.
Yeah, so
plane.
for me it doesn't. It's actually, the dome is a bit bigger. Like both domes are slightly bigger.
When you say, okay, can you make a picture? Can you make a photograph?
Yeah, I'll send you more pictures, yeah.
Okay, close up, very close up, so that I can see it. If it's centered, and how much place is there? Okay.
Yeah.
But you ordered from Amazon.com, and I ordered from Amazon Germany. And what I found out is that the measurement, because it's actually the same product, but because it is placed on Amazon.com and at Amazon.de, the representation of the product is different. You get things in inches, and we get things in millimeters, for example. And what I found out is that there's a difference in
Yeah, so it could be that I need like the millimeter version. I just need to find it. I'll try, we'll see.
Let me see it first. Please make some pics and show me first, because I think it's the same product. The product is right, but maybe you just take the next step smaller. Because in America, they define it with the outer diameter, and in Europe, we define it with the inner diameter. Something like that.
Okay.
I didn't buy from Amazon.com, so you are the first one who did. I just found the same product, and I also checked that the product ID is the same, and it is.
Yes. Yeah.
So actually, it should be the same product, and that's why I wonder why it works for me and not for you. Okay, we'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll find out. Yes, on the right side, and you were asking me, what is this used for? So I go back 1.5 years in time. We tried to use this as an additional fisheye camera, because that part on the left was meant for security cameras, the Dahua cameras. Now, 1.5 years later, we do not work with Dahua cameras anymore. But yes, people, if they already have it, you can use it. But we propose new camera, which is this one. That's why we keep this left this left and right dome as they are, because the left is used for the fisheye camera as well, and the right, we did not remove this from the tool because these were extra costs, and because it's already a feature in the tool, we thought, why not keep it? Maybe we use it in the future for something else. The only thing is that the 3.7 version have cutouts inside this little dome. These cutouts were meant to take on board level cameras, which have a 40 by 40 millimeter form factor. It's an industry form factor. So this was the idea, to have there a possibility to mount 40 by 40 millimeter industry cameras, or cameras that are built from the industry. Now in the 3.8 version, we will reduce the height of the little tower so that both towers are equal on the top level, and we get away with the inside cutouts, because we are not going for board level cameras anymore, because now we have chosen to use the QHY, so there's no need for these cameras anymore. But because it's a feature in the tool and we keep it, we have to put a dome on it, because if you do not put a dome on it, it's a little ditch inside and it will collect water and become nasty over the time.
Yeah.
But you could also use it as a bird feeder, for example. Or whatever. It is there, and it needs a dome to be covered, that's all.
I don't want to attract birds into this unit.
If you are an ornithologist, maybe that's an option for you. Okay, any questions around the enclosures? All right, so
Nope.
if there's no question, Tommy, you've got a question about the enclosures right now?
So you were saying, just to recap, you were saying earlier that it was going to be either 8 or 16 that will be the next batch. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that kind of dictates on when we get, how many sales we get eventually. So I guess my question would be, you're guessing around 3 weeks from now, maybe, before they'll get ordered or shipped?
So when we call today, production will be between 2 to 3 weeks right now. But it depends. When we order in end of October, in production time go up, because the closer you come to Christmas, the more work they all have.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, it's really going to dictate, like I've got 3 I need to order, but it's really going to dictate when we're going to have the first version of software out. Because it doesn't make sense for me to buy 3 more hubs. I got 2 already. So now I have 5, and I'm still waiting for, to start building it. So, yeah.
I think we go with 8. I'd like to go with a smaller batch size, because if we find another topic or more topics that we want to change going into a 3.9 version, then I do not want to sit on 16 that we have to get rid of. I'd like to be on the smaller part for now, until we are settled. When we say, so now it's the version that we stay on for the next couple of years, then we can go for high batch sizes.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no other question for the enclosure side, I'd say maybe, Ido, we start with you. Maybe you can give us a short rundown on the situation around ROS 2 and where we are at the moment.
I really don't have an update. Sorry, last week was really hectic for me. But again, we saw that we are moving to ROS 2 way faster than I thought we are, so it's good. My holdup right now is actually waiting on the camera, so I can implement the driver and be ROS 2, like to have the ROS 2 part with the real camera that we want to use. Besides that, I spoke with Christian about how we can prepare for the future better, specifically after what we are seeing in the market, where the market is going around, system of chip and compute and all of that. So I have some ideas that I'm still kind of playing what we can do there, but nothing worth having a conversation right now. Too early.
Okay.
Like I really want to get the camera and have the driver kind of walking first. That's like the main thing.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I need to make sure the bandwidth is there, the compression works, all of that. So.
All right. Yeah. But Christian, you're working hands in hands with Ido, I assume.
Yes.
From your point of view, maybe you can add bits here.
This week, the last week, I was working on plenty of research material to get the driver right, and I have to say that fitting in ROS2 will help us really to break down the performance issues. And yes, I think we are on the right track to do that and to rip it off. So yeah, it just takes a little longer than expected.
You're working right now on hardware bindings?
Yes.
Can you elaborate what that is a little bit for our audience?
Yes. First, we said, okay, we will drive the cameras with an indie server. So that we just have to put the plugs into the Pi and register it and let the indie server run. Then every connected hardware is provided via this server. Then we noticed that there is a Docker image to run the server as a part of Docker, and ROS2 goes nicely with Docker 2. So the first thing that we are going to put into reality is that we run ROS2 with a Docker image of the indie server. And so we can use the third-party driver that is provided for the indie server. The next step would be take those third-party drivers and re-implement them so we can use them directly in ROS2, and we can skip Docker and the indie part. So this will be our own product, and it will be called ROSindie. So we can skip it. It is a re-implementation of the indie protocol in BASIC.
On top of ROS2. On top of ROS2.
On top of ROS2. And this is and therefore I have to I took the task because of Ido's problems at work. I took the task in my hands for now, so we have got some progress. And because I've got the camera there, I've got the optics there, I'm waiting for the adapter, I could start on that. And this is what will take this week to get somewhere.
All right.
Because the third-party drivers for the QHY cameras I already have. And I was running the camera 2 days ago as a test. That works fine, and now we can put some of the little pieces together to get a step forward.
All right, thank you. That brings me to the question I raised today, Christian. We had a meeting before, so you remember probably. Matti, it's now about the ADSB stuff. You were so kind as to test the hardware. Matti, you there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm there.
Perfect. You were so kind as to test the hardware, and you used TomP 1090 amongst other stuff. And you gave me some links to the TomP 1090 Linux tool, and I found out that it's there, it's already working, it's open source, and it has a perfect output for our use. And because the output is already great, we could use this as a ROS2 node. And
yes, it seems to be an industry standard way to work with the Linux, and it's running currently at the moment, and it's easy to use for me, not a software engineer. So seems to be just fine for our purpose.
Okay, perfect. So that we are now settled and can say we can take the NOALEC with the antenna that you have chosen. I mean, but maybe we have an option with the smaller, the large antenna. But the thing is that the software is already there. We only need to wrap this TomP 1090 into a ROS node, to make a ROS node out of it.
The hardware is not that critical because, with the small antenna and an SDR and maybe some filter, you will get the range that you will need, few hundred kilometers easily. So, and outside that, you can get the data from the other software if you like to have it. For example, this flight aware, you can have all the flights data there if you want to. So
I think it makes
be
more
quite
sense
simple
as a
to
sensor to receive data instead of getting data from somewhere else. I mean, this is just a replacement to get data from somewhere else if someone has not ADSB inside. So he has to get the external source. Rebecca has spoken about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago.
So at least that was quite easy, and hopefully it's easy to implement on software side as well.
Yeah, that brings me to the question to Ido and Christian. Because it's all there, the hardware is there, the software is there. We only have to wrap it into a ROS2 node. So my idea is, why not take a developer who is now working his way or her way into ROS2 and give them that little task to make a ROS2 node out of it, because there's not much more to do besides creating the ROS2 node, because the product is already there. What's your opinion about it, Ido, Christian?
Yeah, that can work.
I think
Christian, what do you think?
Christian?
I think it's a nice little task to do, and it will help us a lot. So, if we can give it to someone, I think it's a good idea.
Okay, so I was thinking about, Rebecca, please, this is a question to you. What is Magnus doing at the moment?
Right now, Magnus is working on the media player to receive the stream of frames from the camera that Christian is working on, or from the stream of frames from the simple tracker. I don't know exactly which one it's coming from, but he's working on the media player that will actually display the frames as a video in the GUI.
Would you say this could be this TomP 1090 ROS2 idea that I raised now? Would that be a task for Magnus, or shall we look for someone else?
Well, I don't know. It's up to you.
No, it's your team. Sorry, I want to interfere with your team.
I would say it's up to him, honestly.
Yeah, basically it's up to him.
Can I jump in quickly?
But here is my suggestion, Richard. Like we have a lot of ideas, a lot of tasks.
Yeah.
I'll suggest, because this is software, we should put them as issues on our GitHub repository. Okay. And whoever engineer wants to work on that, feel free to ask questions. It will be actually easier for me to if you put my name on the GitHub, to actually get notification and help drive the solution, and also collaborate on what needs to on the implementation.
Yep.
Okay, and then an engineer can decide, hey, I'm taking the issue to completion, and everything is documented under that issue, right? Challenges and questions, whatever. It's just like how open source are usually doing that. and I feel like it's kind of missing with Sky 360. So I suggest maybe we adapt to that around software.
Yeah, kind of a ticketing system on GitHub where you track it as topics or issues. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get
exactly.
it.
And we can mark it. This is an ID. This is something we want for the first version. This is something we want for the second version. So we also understand the priorities there.
Yeah. My idea.
And we had something similar. We had something similar to that in ClickUp, but it was made for something outside of ROS 2. So I guess it could be updated for ROS 2 because, for example, that ADBS node that you want to work on is going to have to integrate with a map that's going to be on the GUI because we would like to use one map that can contain ADBS data as well as satellite data. I'm doing this off the top of my head, trying to remember what all the activities are. What did we have on the map? We had satellites, flights, ISS. We had weather. We wanted to put all of that and integrate that all into one map, and then you can click on it to select and look at one thing at a time, or look at all four at a time, and then overlay also on top of the image of the fisheye. So
so think about all these feeds for the map as like issues, different issues that we can prioritize, and if each one of them we are publishing as a ROS 2 topic, right now the map service or whatever can just listen to all of them and kind of mesh all of it to render it like nicely on the UI.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, the whole point, and maybe that's important to actually reiterate on it, right, is to create like an end-to-end, and I spoke with Christian about it also, I think yesterday again, like to create an end-to-end, barely workable system, okay? And the idea of barely workable system is that we want how it's operating and fix the operational part. But if we are, breaking everything to small components, right? And now they're barely working, we know how to improve on them separately, so we can stabilize the system, increase the performance, and later on even scale, right?
Exactly.
This is the same. Yeah, this is the same execution that Elon Musk is speaking about highly, right? We need to get to a complete system, right? And then we need to figure out how it's operational, how to make it more operational, more and more, right? But at least we break all the robot parts. Yeah.
Exactly. And the great thing about that is that way we have intimate knowledge of every detail of that software, how it works.
Exactly. Yeah. So when a component becomes like a stable enough, or we face, let's say limits of the component kind of subsystem, we can decide, okay, we need to redesign it, but we don't impact the protocol, right? So now there will be an update to it, even if it's a hardware update, which unlikely will happen. Sorry, right? We can do that without impacting the rest of the system. That's the idea.
I think I need to finish up on that the updated GUI design PDF that Christian asked for. I need to do that so that way we can make tickets based off of that. I think I need to do that, because now we're using ROS 2. So
cool.
Okay, I just wanted to raise this topic because I thought that I know that for all of you besides IDO, ROS 2 is a new thing, and you are all going into reading books and manuals and what have you to get your head around this. And I thought the 1090 TomP thing is such a small and encapsulated task that it could be a good one for a starter, because it's clearly defined, and I thought it's an easy approach for someone who learns ROS 2 to create a ROS 2 node. Or is it too complex?
No, I think it's actually good, but I'll recommend. I saw there are some ROS 2 workshops and courses that are quite cheap, like from $15 to like $99, 2 days workshop that gives you all the way from building ROS to node to the simulation of it and all of that. And I think it's highly valuable, honestly. If someone wants a link, I can try to find out. I keep getting notification about those.
Yeah, send me the link if you can, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we can order that features service and then watch all.
I think that are controlled webinars, so you can't just record a video of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I went down that road because I got the link from Ido already, and they sell it's a training webinar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We might contact them. Maybe they can have a special offer for Sky 360.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Maybe they do a special webinar for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Sky 360. So let's say we do a webinar where all interested people are coming together and for a greater audience.
The greater the audience, the more expensive it will become. But yes, Ido,
Maybe
send over
not.
the link, please. I'll make contact with them and see where we end. I mean, we cannot afford a $10,000 training session for 10 people, you know. We're not company.
No,
like
I get that.
All right. Mike, you interrupted before. Sorry, I think 10 minutes before to say something. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah.
It
hear me?
derailed.
No. Yeah, no worries. All I was trying to just mention there was I found this it's quite a neat little RX wrapper around ROS2, which allows you to get information from Linux hardware devices quite easily. So that was the only thing that I wanted to mention at the time. So I put a link in Hangouts. So if I don't quite know what the ASB thing entirely is. Yeah, sorry. I'm not very familiar with that, but if it's a hardware device, then there's a wrapper to be able to stream events from it. Anyway, that's all I wanted to mention about that. But yeah, so I've now figured out how to create like a shared library. So I'm just kind of refactoring my ROS2 stuff to use a shared library, really. So I've got like just trying to reduce me copying code files all over the place. It's the same code file all over the place. Yeah, other than that, I created like a video player node, so it will play videos, like just the videos we have in Simple Tracker. So you don't have to have a camera, and the video player is enabled by default in the launch file. Once I've refactored all my packages to use the shared library, I would like to try and tackle the ability to create a Docker file for all this ROS stuff, so other people can run it also versus just me. So currently the Docker files for Simple Tracker seem to work all right. Actually, I got it up and running on Windows 11 a couple of days ago, so it's a bit clunky, but that I think is more like a Windows thing than anything to do with the Docker image. But yeah, it worked. I was kind of showing a mate of mine, so I know it works. But yeah, so the next thing is to try and wrap all the ROS stuff into a Docker file, and so that it's not just me that can kind of run the current repository. And then and that will obviously also include stuff like the BGS library and a compiled version of OpenCV for CUDA and all those sorts of things. So so it's so I think that's going to be a biggish task. I think it might take me a little while to do, but we'll see how we get on. I think that's pretty much it, really. In all fairness, unfortunately, it's not. Yeah, that's about as much as I've managed to get done this week, really.
Okay, thank you. Absolutely okay.
Any questions?
Thousands.
Okay. Oh dear. Oh, and also I got that email I got back from. I'm going to butcher the guy's first name, so I'm just going to call him Mr. Mazurek. Yeah. So I was really excited by that email as well, because I thought that was very, very cool, that there's the potential that he wants to basically do a PhD, and which is, if we can get him engaged and help him with his PhD, and he help us with the stuff that we do, like the bit of a symbiotic relationship, and also with Pierre-Luc, I just think that, I was very excited about that, actually, because I think that's I think that's fantastic, that if they want to share knowledge, sort of thing, I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I hope they watch this video, and I really hope you guys decide to help and join. It'll be so cool. So I thought that was very neat. I was really excited when that email came through.
Yeah, and you definitely found the right people. So
it's a start, and I'm disappointed that the British guys, the guys that have that that company Lancashire, haven't responded. But you got to.
I told you, it's a company.
It's what it is.
They are selling. They do not give away their IP.
No, absolutely, and they would probably be concerned that we would be competition or something. So I do understand, but it would be nice just to hear back from them. But yeah, so I mean, that aside, I think these, I hopefully, so I was just really excited by those responses. Really, it was very encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely. So that the first will take place next weekend. It's with Pierre-Luc Saint-Charles. But before we go into this, Mike, I just wanted to ask Rebecca, if there's an update from your side you want to give us?
Actually, not at this time. Okay. I've been working on the tutorials and going through that, and just getting a good grounding on it. So that way it's not, once I get to finishing up the GUI or attaching the GUI to it, it's not anything complicated. I like to, my way of doing things, I like to know something in and out before I finish it. I don't like to just go based off of tutorials and piece things together and hope it works, without knowing what's actually going on underneath the hood. So that's my style.
There's a lot underneath the hood.
Exactly. But it helps when you get errors, so that way you know how to solve them right away instead of, spending forever trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, good tactic, absolutely. Okay, thank you, Rebecca. I think if there's no other update from anyone, we go over to the question list of questions. Tommy, you want to add something before we go over?
Just that I'll have the QHY cameras will be shipping on Monday. What is it?
Cool.
I think that's the 10th. They're on vacation this week, so they'll ship on let me see, I think it's the 10th. Yeah, it's the 10th, and then we'll get them like Thursday or Friday that week. So we'll get them next week.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be the first batch, and then I'll order more as these get depleted.
Okay. So your first batch
I'm
numbers.
driving to you. I'm driving to you for a beer and a camera.
You got it.
You're in Texas too?
Yeah, he's in Houston. But it's about a 4 hour drive.
Ah! Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Do it. You got
Cool.
a lake up here.
So the distance is how far?
4 hours.
I think like 3 hours away. You're in Dallas, right? Next to Dallas.
Yeah, I'm on. The
okay, I'm 1 hour north of Houston. So.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
So you're in Woodlands?
I'm actually in Lake Conroe.
Oh, you're on a lake too.
So
okay, cool.
Yeah, I have to. Texas, It's hot.
Yep.
All right. So, Christian, Americans are neighbors when they have to drive 3 hours. That's what we learn here.
Yeah. It's like you and me, but for me it's about 8 hours.
No, but come on, you can drive 400 miles a second, so.
Not really. That is a long time gone. German highways are so messed up. You will have an average speed of at best of 120 kilometers an hour.
Oh, that's
wow.
bad.
Yeah, and on two of the main highways, you have at the moment 43 roadworks. You can forget 400 kilometers a second. That time is long gone.
The good thing is you don't get a speeding ticket.
No, because they have flashlights on the highway that are mounted beneath the bridges now.
Yeah.
So you get a speeding ticket.
Cameras. Yep. Speeding cams. Yeah, ours is 75 in Texas. 75 miles. If you go, but if you go up north, man, there's some that are like 55 miles an hour, which is slow. I mean, really slow.
Yeah, it's about 90 kilometers here.
Yeah.
There's a city.
I just moved to Montana.
There's a city in Austria where you are only allowed to go by 22, 24 miles per hour. The whole city.
Wow.
30 kilometers per hour is the limit. Kilometers per hour.
Yeah, the community that I live, it's up to 25.
Yeah, same. Okay. Okay, haven't spoken about the traffic topics in the world. I'd say we jump over to something we have to work on, which is the list of questions we want to address to Pierre-Luc Saint-Charles, and I made it right. And I'm going to share my screen. Oops, so please tell me if you see my screen or not. Here it is, and here is the paper. Can you see my screen and the paper?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the basic idea is to have some short introduction, and I will reduce the introduction because we only have 60 minutes time, 1 hour. I want to keep the introduction as small as possible because I'm sure Pierre-Luc already checked the website and our YouTube channel, what have you, Discord. He's on Discord, and that's why he shows also up on our meeting on Discord. So I think we can skip most of these parts. I would rather go for a short introduction, just so to be sure that he's on the page that he thinks he is with us. And that's why.
Can you magnify it a little bit more?
Yes, of course. Better?
Thanks.
Okay. So this intro, I think if we go alone with the intro, it takes an hour, as it is like this. So my idea would be that only one person will give him a short intro, a 5-minute intro. What we do, where we are, where we're heading to. And then after 5 minutes, directly go into the questions. What do you say? Your opinion, please. Do you agree or not?
Yeah, I agree.
So
this is too much information for him to understand in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wasn't sure. I don't want him to feel ambushed in a way. So so I completely understand where you're coming from, but I guess the main thing is just to also tweak his interest as well, versus just because the idea would be that if he takes an interest in the project, then we'll have obviously a lot more time to have conversations with him versus just this 1 hour sort of thing, you know. That was just my view. Yeah. That doesn't mean you have to increase the intro. By the way, that was just a statement, really.
No, that's certainly true. I mean, an intro is necessary. My question is such an elaborated intro necessary?
No, it goes
Yeah,
much deeper than anything else.
Michael, what did you
just
say?
as a suggestion,
Yeah.
I would go with I said, as a suggestion, I would go with short and sweet. You know, the old keep it simple. And the other thing is, I would kind of, if the desire is to attract the guy's attention, just do what television does, and that's essentially make it so there's like a hook in there. You know, so because to me the project does have a hook. I mean, I'm interested in what the project's trying to accomplish and all that. But kind of take it from that PR perspective that because the ultimate goal is to get this guy to participate in the project, right? And if that's the case, try to find a short, to the point, and then a little bit of a hook there so that it tries, you want to draw him in, mentally, as just a left field remark.
Yes, I get your point that we have to get him hooked. That's what you mean, right? Michael?
Yeah. In the world of video and show business, it's called a teaser. And that's the point is to draw your audience in. So, I'm thinking in terms of just, keep it short.
I get it, but the thing is, we cannot produce a teaser within the week. No means, no
5-minute teaser. I think we can do that because we can use, let's say, some kind of Prezi or Sozi presentation where we just say the basics.
Yes, a presentation can be done.
Yeah, a presentation as a teaser.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just like I said, real quick, because you were talking about instead of having a bunch of people do these little sections. What I was trying to get at was, just have one person do whatever information you want to get to them on the status of the project, and then but do it in such a fashion that we don't need a big production here. We just need something that capture the guy's attention.
Good point.
So again, keep it simple, and then just but like I said, with the idea that whoever's doing the presentation is essentially going to is going to put a little bit of a hook in there for him, try to catch his interest and what I'm trying to say is take it from that perspective, not do a whole elaborate production. I mean, I do video production and amongst other things. I mean, I can put all kind of things up. I can't do it in a week, and for purpose of this, I wouldn't want to. I'd want it to be simple, on point, and then
even generating the material for a video would be exaggerating for just 1 week.
So exactly.
Presentation is good enough.
Like I said, just simple. on point, but kind of like, but like I said, with the idea of like the way they do video teasers is just you want something there that's going to be kind of a hook to get them to look pretty good at coming on board.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
That's all I wanted to say is.
Yeah, so I was just going to say on the Google Scholar link that I shared. I mean, he has in 2015 he has been cited by reproducible evaluation of pan tilt zoom tracking. So the stuff that we are interested in, he's gonna know about, right? He does definitely have experience and knowledge of everything in the area that we're interested in. So I don't think it's not going to be a challenge to try and motivate our point or what we're trying to achieve, because I think he's probably has some experience in it already, to be fair, which is great.
Yeah, it's not the topic itself. I think, Mike, you're totally right. The topic is his topic, and we are the latecomers, not him. So we do not have to present our project to him in a way so that we show him something. The only reason is that is to make him confident enough that what we do is something he can be involved with and not have to stay away from.
Yes, agreed. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
But I think it's a good idea from Michael to do this in a form of a presentation, because then we can squeeze things into slides and make, let's say, 5 or 10 slides and run that within 5 to 10 minutes. All right.
I would emphasize that it's about sky awareness. I think that would be the biggest draw, just what's in the sky, helping everyone throughout the world identify exactly what's in the sky. I think that would be something that would be of interest. That's what I think.
Yeah, the fact that there are 150,000 of units that we want to achieve at large scale.
That's also interesting.
That's interesting.
Because this generates data.
But
he's a scientist.
But again, I wouldn't dwell to all of this in an intro. This is just
it's
way too much.
Yeah.
I would say like number one is important, overview and objectives.
Yeah.
And then current status, really focusing on the simple tracker. And then some question about the classification, image recognition. Pen tilt, I wouldn't say it's priority right now, honestly.
It's what?
Because we are not. No, it's not a priority right now. Because we are not actively working on it. And I think we rather focus on what the first version is going to have. So what can help us with that? Because again, if we get the hook right and he's interested in helping, we will have him for the long term, right?
Yeah, true.
And I'm sure it's to be the first and only conversation.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay, that's the goal.
Yeah,
that's the goal at least. So that's why a presentation is, of course, important. So because what we represent is what we represent, is what we are. So he has to make sure that we are no nerds or crazy UAP guys,
Well, we are nerds and we are crazy, but that's okay.
I mean, you can call yourself a nerd. I'm not.
Computer science people are happy being called nerds.
Really?
It's a compliment.
Okay. In the US,
yes.
At least in Austria, not. Okay.
In Germany, of course, it's a compliment.
Really?
Yeah.
They are computer guys and they are nerds. And as a nerd, you're a very special computer guy, because you are not only good at theory, but in practice too, and you are outstanding. And if you're called a nerd, this is a compliment to you. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe different here. Okay, I will prepare a presentation and share with you during the week so that you can give your input, what is too much, what is too less, and shape that. So we can do this during the week. now I come to the second part, which is the real question, what it's actually all about. So, Mike, please correct me if I'm wrong. You posted a link to his Google Scholar page. I posted a link to LinkedIn about him. So you guys can look at his CV, what he did, what he works for, and what his emphasis is. What I found out, and please Mike correct me if I'm wrong, I found out his focus is on computer vision, motion detection, and background subtraction, and machine learning, right?
Yes, yeah, that's. I mean, that's certainly on. Yeah, on the webpage I'm looking now, that's basically what he's been working on for the last 8 years, if not longer.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
All right. So that means we should focus all our questions around those topics and not go too far off. Because we want to squeeze him, we want to get information out from him. We don't only want to fancy him so that he gets interested in our project, but we also want to get, if he's not interested in the project, we still want to get ideas and answers to some questions. And that's why this question catalog. Did you all see these questions yet, or is someone not familiar with this, what we collected so far? Okay, you can all see these questions that are collected, okay? So we have one topic that is from Mike, I assume. It's OpenCV, background subtraction library, and CUDA. And right, Michael?
Yeah, yeah, so my I just wanted to get some fee, like I would like him to elaborate a bit on the projects he's worked with using these technologies and challenges he's faced, that sort of thing. But I suppose that applies to everything, yeah, really.
Okay. So
yeah, so the I mean the sub question there, like 1A, I just added that today, and that was just, if you click on that link, you will see he's accredited as the author of some of the background subtraction algorithms that are part of the BGS library, and they are CPU based at the moment. And I was just interested to find out if that was just a preference, or if if there was some sort of technical reason he didn't approach or go down the GPU CUDA route. And just generally trying to get a bit more information around those sorts of topics from him, really.
So one question is why he's using CPU only and not CUDA in his algorithms.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
It's probably
like,
easier to implement.
Is there a technical reason?
Is there
like a technical reason? Yeah. Or is
like
it just it will take longer?
Like I'm sure, like it's easier to develop like per CPU compared to CUDA, because CUDA, it's you need to think about the parallelism of things.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I can make assumptions, and my assumptions are very similar to yours. Yeah. But I just Yeah,
we do not have to find answers now. We find questions for now. We should not answer for him.
Yeah.
So this is definitely an important question. Why is he using CPU and not CUDA? And on the other hand, if he's not using CUDA, should we use CUDA? And after
what's his view of it? And
what is his view of our project? How would he approach it? That's what I want to know.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah, that I think is probably, so that would be my number one question personally.
Can I formulate this? How would you approach a project like ours, for example? So,
yes,
only from the concept of libraries, software, maybe even hardware. What if he builds an edge computing platform that's not very expensive but useful and available from the shell and blah what have you. So how would he approach it to set that up?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And is CUDA really the thing to go for, or no?
Yes, exactly that. Yeah, agreed. I think those are good questions from my point of view. So those are ones I wouldn't mind hearing the answers to, But I mean, I'm sure there's loads of questions other people want to also hear the answers to. But from my point of view, I think those are good questions.
So any other all of you, a question concerning the libraries? Christian, Ido.
Yeah, I've got a more general question for him. That would be which type of neural network would he suggest for such a task that we are up to, like detecting, classification, pathfinding, interception course calculations, the whole thing. So this is not specific to hardware or to software, but the type of neural network should be determined, and after that we can decide which training material we need. Because it's specific to the type of neural network.
Yeah.
Is the question formulated more or less correct, or would you change it?
What type of neural network? I would go for the type, not for the neural network itself, because neural network is not very specific.
Yeah, and I would say focus on parallelism.
Yes. Let's say, okay, if one would use the neural network type multi-layer perceptrons, then you are with parallelism and segmentation all along. So for me, it's interesting what type, and therefore we know what to do next. But I wouldn't say for sequential image processing. I would go for more in general.
In general?
For the whole task, because it's not only sequential image processing. Image processing is done before, like background subtraction, things of that. This is not part of the neural network. The neural network goes about detection, classification,
of sequential
further
images that come in. Processing is the wrong word, maybe, but the images for the neural network.
It's detection, classification, and tracking. I mean that's
yes.
really.
Then write it in this way. Okay, so detection. No, detection is not. So, hey guys, we have to stay in the village. We say in Austria.
Yeah,
we are not talking about things that will be in 2 or 3 years. So our concept now.
Do not refer to sequential image, but write down for object detection, classification, and anything else.
Okay, I get it. What do you mean? So that implies basically that object detection is not done the traditional way as Mike is doing it, but to let the neural network just get the feed and do whatever it does with it. Okay.
Yes. And the type of neural network defines how the task is done. And there are several examples that sometimes a self-orientating map is much more useful than a multi-layer perceptron. Multi-layer perceptrons are they are good with pattern recognition and doing decisions. Self-orientating maps are just good as when it comes to untrained material where you want to find out what pattern you have. And so these different types of neural networks, they differ a lot, and they are not useful for any task. And to find the right type, this question is about.
Yeah, I do get it to have a neural network, and we talked about so far, as I can recall, for image recognition and maybe even classification, kinematic classification, but not for object detection. And now your question implies that neural networks could be, for our purpose, used for object detection as well. True?
Yes, I was
Quite a change.
already at SkyHype. I was under the impression that this is all about using neural networks, because artificial intelligence is normally based on neural networks. Because neural networks are programs and concepts that work like the human brain.
Christian, yes, please do not go that route. Come back, please. What Mike is doing on classic motion detection is using several algorithms. It starts with background subtraction, edge detection, running averages, and what have you, just to find out whether there is an object or not, and to summarize them into blobs of, so they're having more events at the same area, creating one blob that is to be tracked, for example. All these features, you think, can be done by a single neural network, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Because it's using segmentation and parallelization right from the start.
Yeah.
What hinders us to do so?
Richard, I'll suggest. I'll share with you the YouTube link to the kind of the announcement of the Tesla robot. It's a couple of hours, I think, but there is a section there about compute and the simulation when they speak about the neural network, and now they parallelize everything. I think it will be valuable for you to watch it.
Okay.
They explain a lot about this stuff there, like how Tesla does it.
Okay,
but
you cannot
escape today. Yeah, you cannot escape today a neural network. It's kind of the go-to.
Ido, my question is.
Yeah, but I think there's a further challenge here, right? Is because it's trying to run the stuff on the edge within a certain budget.
Yeah,
which I think is the challenge.
So we should ask about that. Like, what's the challenge on having a neural network on the edge?
If Tesla is doing it in a car, it can be done on the edge, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is now with question 4, we kill Mike's work. You know that?
No. Mike is doing the algorithms that are then included in the neural network. This is how it works. You first develop the right algorithm and put it as a node in the neural network.
Yeah. The whole idea of the neural network, really, right, is to break things to smaller chunks and do parallelization on the data processing, right?
Yes.
To create like a high-performance data pipeline. And the way it does that, and there is a very good explanation how they're the Tesla, they call it Tesla Dojo, that's the cloud compute that they are coming up with, how it does the parallelization and across all the data segmentations. So it's actually a good demo.
Mm-hmm. Could you put that in Hangouts, please? I really wouldn't mind having a look at that as well. And also, Richard, like if there's better stuff to use than the stuff I'm working on, don't feel bad about that. If my stuff's trash, then it's fine. The main thing is trying to use the best technology to do the job. I mean, I'm not, don't for 1 minute think that it doesn't bother me at all if we scrap what I do, sort of thing. No, don't worry.
Again, I don't I don't think it's trash because you have the algorithms. It's just like reforming them to be used by a neural network. So think about it as taking your solution to the next step, to work under a neural network.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As I say, it's not.
A neural network consists of nodes, and these nodes are like separated computing nodes, and these run algorithms, normal algorithms, and they form a neural network at the moment when they are pieced together and work in parallel. So first we have to develop the right algorithms for detection, for classification, for tracking, for everything else. And these are put into these nodes. So nothing is lost. And I know what Mike is talking about, but we do not skip that. We just take it as a part of such a computing node. And this forms the neural network in the end. So everything that Mike or Lionel are doing, this is not thrown away because these are the basic things. These are the stuff to start with. You have to do it already. So without that, you can't develop any neural network.
So, does that now mean that on a device, on a board that we put into our closure, only one AI shall run that receives the images from the camera and processes everything, and yeah.
Like
It sounds like
our human brain. And you can do many things with the brain in parallel. Yes.
it kind of sounds like the same concept with the GUI, where we have some APIs that are already completed, and we're just going to stick those individual APIs into separate nodes. That's kind of kind of the same concept.
Yes,
Mhm.
it is.
Yeah, like if you think about it, think about the algorithm right now works on a full frame, right? But we're going to actually have it work on a segment that the neural network will decide what the segment is.
Yes. And tracks tracks where this segment is lying in the original image. So you can do it in parallel with plenty of, let's say, events that are detected.
Exactly. And then the neural network will learn what is more important, which segments are more important to process right now, which one are not.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so you've got the machine learning part already covered.
Yeah.
And if we know what type of network we use best, then we can decide what training material we feed in and what we use for testing.
But this network is how can I say this in English? A monster, something that does so many things, which is from motion detection over to, at the end,
yeah, but think about
and it does it all.
Yes, think about it as the human brain. The human brain receives optical information. It receives smells and it hears all that and it receives information from the fingers, temperature information. All that is processed within the brain in parallel, and so we can recognize what's all around us. And this is what we are going to do with GUIS 360. And yeah, the All Sky Cam is, let's say, the Cyclops eye. And the geophone is, let's say, like the ears.
Okay.
And so on.
How shall we approach this if we want to build this in that way?
The first thing is what Mike and Lionel already did.
I think we might be getting into the weeds of something we don't really have to get into at this stage, because we're just putting together some questions for Pierre. I mean, he might have a view on that as well, right? So we can just
as a discussion point, it's interesting to have his answer.
Yeah.
This is where we have to solve that. This is where machine learning leads to. And if we want to use machine learning as a method, then we have to say, okay, we want to go that route or not. And this is what all the CUDA cores are all about. Running a neural network as fast as we can. And if we say, okay, we skip the neural network part, then we can skip CUDA. Because CUDA is breaking down a neural network onto actually hardware.
Yeah, I get the need for a neural network for image recognition, and I get it for classification, for example, to find out patterns. But objects in the sky do not have patterns like this. And the full frame is huge. So what images? Is it image-based recognition? Yeah, of course. What else? I mean, it's a camera. It delivers frames. So, and the frames are 20 megapixels of size. Well, and the objects are of some pixels only. It's...
but think about it. The CUDA, you're going to have how much is on the Jetson? How many threads the CUDA has? 1,000 cores?
Yeah, around that. 500.
Yeah. So think about it now. You're taking that 20 megapixel frame and you're splitting it by 1,000. So each segment is 20 megapixel divided by 1,000, right?
Yeah.
And each core will run that segment. But again, there are higher order segments that the CUDA will have to go through until it reaches, like an object that is large enough, let's say even for the entire frame to be recognized. But again, that's the purpose of the neural network, how to do that properly. I'll send you the link. I think you'll understand it better when you see the visualization of it.
Okay, no, I get the need for this question. I understand that. It was disrupting for me because I thought, what are we talking now here? Because Mike is working on this since a year, and now we're talking about... Yeah, okay, I was just concerned about this. Okay, got it.
Oh, no, it's not a change.
Yeah, please don't worry about that, mate. Yeah.
I do worry.
No, please, no, don't. We'll just do whatever's... we have to just go with whatever is the best technology for the job. And if that changes over time, which it invariably will because technology does move on, then we just got to go with it. It's not, I don't like,
okay.
you know what I mean? So
I get your point. You're very pragmatic here. Because these 2 points, 2 and 4, are more or less tangential to each other. I try to formulate the second question. What method for motion detection of small, fast objects in noisy background are best? Is this a question you can live with, or you want to reformulate that one? Mike?
Oh, I think that's fine. I mean, yes, I would ask that question and just see what he says. Yeah. I don't think we can ask too few questions. So I think it's better to have too many questions. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we have 1 hour, and we cannot ask all questions. And we have to be there. I don't know him. I don't know how talkative he is. Maybe he gives short answers. Maybe he gives very elaborate answers. We will see.
Yeah, I'm sure if you ask him his experience on some of the stuff he's worked on, he will be able to elaborate a lot. So I think if we get into a position where we've run out of questions, we can ask him about stuff that he's done. And usually people will then easily elaborate for quite a long period of time on those sorts of things. So.
Yeah. Now, I hope on input from all of you. First of all, I hope that you all show up when we have this meeting, and I do not want to sit with him alone. You know what I mean? We're representing our endeavor, so the more people, the better. But also not only sit there and listen, and I'm the only one talking with him. I need you I need every one of you thinking what he's saying and formulating the right next questions. Okay? Because I'm trying to be a moderator, but I'm not a software engineer like you are. Okay? So you have to put the questions. All of you.
Sure.
I'm not talking
Oh,
to Mike
don't worry.
only.
We all know how to be noisy.
In the background, absolutely. The noisy background. Okay.
Shall we train some kind of Laola wave?
So we now have questions from different things about motion detection, and the order is not right for me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I put in a lot of that stuff, right? So and I put it in there just so that it would hopefully help other people maybe think of questions they would like to ask. So if some of that stuff is in the wrong place or it's duplicated, just get rid of it.
Oh, it's not because of me. This is a paper I will then send to him because he needs to prepare for the questions. Yeah? Or just get an idea what is the realm of all these questions. Yeah? They're not talking about strange things about UAPs, but about the topic itself. So that he knows what topic we are going to focus on.
So I think a question that's worth including there explicitly is asking about his experience to do with classification, tracking, that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like object classification, algorithms for tracking. I mean, we can even go as far as to say, ask about, you know, we understand he has experience with the whole, you know, pan tilt zoom sort of stuff, and is our architecture, what does he think of our architecture with the fisheye and the, you know, so that, I mean, you know, if does he have a view on that? And I think that probably comes under the how would you approach a project like ours, really, is, yeah.
Is this a stupid question from your point of view?
So I'll try and also add some more questions onto the document tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
And then you can organize them in a way that you prefer. So I will just add questions and you can move them around and kind of put them into a sequence that you would prefer them to be in, sort of thing.
Okay. All right. I just want to use the today meeting that we also get input from others, from Ido, Christian.
Yes, agreed.
I wanted to have all your views on it. Rebecca, it's not only me and Mike adding this. It's this meeting with Pierre-Luc will certainly help all of us and will give us all deep insights in what today's motion detection, what Sky 360 actually shall do to find UAPs in our skies. Basically, that's it, because he's a specialist there.
Could you do some modifications on question number 4?
Absolutely.
Do it like object detection, comma classification, tracking, and interception course calculation.
You want to ask this because, although you already know?
You mean interception prediction?
Interception course.
Oh, course interception. That's predictive.
Calculation. Calculation noch.
Okay.
I have some ideas what works best with what I did so far, but having a different point of view leads to sometimes to a much better product. And if he's experienced in PDF already, then he should have worked with that kind of programs. You can do it the old-fashioned way in doing it separately in sequential order, or you can use a neural network to do that. And there is a very good example that uses the neural network for decision making. It's done by the Carnegie Mellon University in 1992, and it was the first project that produced a neural network with that you can. It's like an autopilot for cars. So you say, okay, we want to go get there, and the car, this neural network decides how to drive. It really was the first auto drive system in the world, and it's called autonomous land vehicle in a neural network, and it was so successful that they drove nearly 6,800 miles without the driver has to step in. No accident, no speeding thing, nothing. It worked perfectly. And it was adapted to Mercedes truck fleet in 1996.
Yes, but sorry, I don't get the point. Why are you telling us this?
As an example for using a neural network in a daily situation. And therefore, you use one special type of neural network for it.
Yes, of course.
And yes, of course, we do have this experience right now. This is not something like the Holy Grail to discover. But if he knows how to drive a PTF, then getting to know what kind of what he suggests for this task would be interesting.
Christian, I would suggest you go on his page, the Scholar Google, and then you see what he already published, and then you will find that he already published in this direction. So
of course. So his opinion about what we are facing would be nice. And if he suggests, let's say, okay, go for that or go for that, or in the last, let's say, 10 years, there was a paradigm change that you won't use this kind of type or that kind of type, and the development was that. This is what he can tell us.
I mean, you could ask him even if would he you could ask him about, is there a need for a neural network on the initial classification as well? You don't have to put that in the questions, but we can talk about that also, get his view on
absolutely.
Well,
it's more or less this question. What are your experiences? What is your view on?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think this order now makes, to me, it makes more sense, because first we ask what method would he suggest what method for motion detection is best for these small, fast flying objects in noisy background. That's basically what we have, day and night. And then what is your common experience with these methods? How would you approach our project? And then even more detailed questions going deeply into this question about CUDA.
So I will change 5 and 4.
You would change places?
Yeah, agreed.
Okay,
yeah.
And maybe
Even-
even 6 and 5 now, 7 and 5.
Yeah,
Really? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And I
Yeah,
would
because
like
those
from
are more generalized and high level, and the OpenCV is more detailed.
Makes
and that
sense.
bottom bit you can bin that stuff, mate. To be fair, from 11, I don't really know if it's necessary. I think I just put that in there just to try and just so there was something.
Yeah. No problem. That's why we're sitting to hear and work on that.
Yeah.
So,
And
January.
you can ask him in the email if there are any question. He will disqualify.
Oh, he will
Yeah,
certainly
yeah,
tell us in advance.
Because he already has some ideas, and he said like this is actually better to discuss and whatever.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
first of all, we collect these questions, then I give him these questions, and then he can come back and say this question is stupid or add this question. I will
Yeah.
add, while sending him this paper, I will say that to him. I will write that to him so that he shall
Cool.
say whether the question is stupid or he wants to add another question.
Yeah, that number. So I think it's number 10 now. I added
Yeah.
that I just wanted to find out if he knew of anything, like if he just knew of any other open source stuff that we could have a look at. Really,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that because all I do is Google and search for it and that sort of stuff, and I might not have, it's hard to find, to find all of it really. So,
I mean, this is
so if there's anything that he's aware.
This is a rather direct question. I think fits in here.
Yeah. And then from number 9 onwards, you can delete. I don't think
It's kind of
I think
repetitive because we
this
already
is-
refined it.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, I just added that in the hope that it would give like maybe just give ideas as to questions that we could ask.
Yeah.
So
So for me, and this is what you raised here, is Christian, is it is an essential question for me personally, whether we go with a pure neural network for the total task of tracking, detecting, and capturing these devices. I always went with, we do the detection the old school way, because it's the stable way, we can control, we have detail, we have parameters, what have you, and then do the image recognition and the classification with a neural network. But now you're telling me the whole process can run in a neural network. So that is something that would interest me, what his take on this is. Would he go the same way? Would he also do it in a neural network, or split it up in several tasks?
Yeah, if we talk about IA or AI, an AI needs a neural network because anything wouldn't be as fast and wouldn't do any decisions. So I think it's a very basic question. And I was under the impression from SkyHub to Sky360 that we are advertising everything we do with being AI. So artificial intelligence, not intelligent algorithm.
AI, and we are far away from intelligence. We are only talking about neural networks, okay? So we use the neural networks in our concept for the image recognition and the classification, but not for the object detection so far. You came up
but
with
we can use
today.
It too. Yes.
You came up today with that, and you surprised me with this, because we never talked about this in this direction. Sorry that I'm surprised, okay? Maybe you have spoken to someone else about it, but not to me.
I think actually we should use it for the slewing as well, right? Not just
for slewing.
What I mean,
for slewing, we use it already.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Why? How?
Because it's implemented in BSSS.
No way.
Yes, of course. And there you have a complete coordinate system. The BSSS knows where the telescope is pointing. and it calculates the path to it
And it's
with a
not
neural network.
algorithmic.
No,
It's
but
a neural
you need to do
network that you're talking about.
Yeah, as basic as it can be. It doesn't do plenty of things, but it decides how what course, what direction you're turning. Because for huger telescopes, the mirror isn't mounted. You can't you can't fix it. So
no,
if the
but I'm
telescope,
speaking about ensuring that the object is in the center of the the telescope, right?
yeah,
And doing
okay,
also the prediction of it. That's what I mean.
But this is pretty easy. Therefore, you do not need a neural network, but we can use it too. Therefore, you know what dimensions, how many pixels you have, and this is already done. This is not witchcraft. But therefore,
no,
of course. But to do it very, very quick. Yeah, to do it very, very quick, I decided to go for a neural network there.
Okay, cool.
That's why I was concerned of what neural network should we use for the detection, classification, tracking, and everything else on the all-sky cam. Because for a very, very small piece of the sky, it's easily done. But for the all-sky, there's plenty of data to collect, and there are several events that can take place in parallel, and this is a complete different task to perform. Just censoring something in the middle of the camera, this is quite easy.
No, but what I mean is like the neural network will need to now focus on that rather than processing all the rest of the frame, right?
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
To make, again, faster decisions in higher frame rate. So.
Yes.
Okay. So this splitting up the frame into sections is a normal and per se things when you work with a neural network or even with CUDA and to to create this buffer and okay.
Yeah.
All right then. So, any other question? Mike, the doc is there. So please add whenever you have questions to what you want to add here. I think that.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I think that's in pretty good shape actually. I think that as a starting point, I think that's not. I think that's a good set of questions. You know, it's not too intimidating either.
Yeah, and not too much either.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if we cannot present him 30 questions, this would be exaggerated. I mean, we talk about 1 hour.
Yeah, agreed.
Basically, 7-8 questions is already enough, I would say, for a start.
Agreed.
If there is any of any one of you, not only Mike, but if there is any more question that's important, please put it in. You have the link to this doc file. I will. So the next couple of days I will work on a presentation that should be done in a 5-minute presentation. So in 5 minutes you should get an overview what Sky 360 is and where we're heading to, what our purpose is. And then I will also take this document, Mike, when you say you're finished with your question that doesn't come anymore, then I will take this section here and send it to Pierre, because I will not send it on Sunday next weekend, so he gets it 1 hour in beforehand.
No,
so
of course.
It would be polite of us if we could send it a week beforehand.
Yeah, I'm fine with that set of questions, Richard. Honestly,
okay.
I don't like personally. I'm not sure if I would add to it. I think there's enough there to have a discussion on. You know, given that. We don't even have an agenda when we do a developers meeting, and it lasts 2 hours.
You don't have an agenda.
So
you haven't seen mine.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, that wasn't an insult, right?
I always every Sunday I have 2 agendas. One for our internal meeting and the second one for a developers meeting.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. My bad. I don't mean it in a bad way.
Yeah, you couldn't have known. I never told you.
No,
Okay,
no. But yeah.
guys.
So I think there's enough there to make a
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
And I
Feel
can
so.
I can forward the same questions over to Mr. Mauserek and
Masurek, yeah.
and see get his view as well. And I'm not sure.
Actually,
Yeah,
I would
just
rather suggest that we do the thing with Pierre this Sunday,
okay.
and then we create a video record of it, and then also you can
Okay.
send this video link
Okay.
to
Yeah,
Masurek, so he gets
Yeah.
more
Yes.
so he how to say this in English, that he's satisfied is the wrong word, so that he doesn't have to be frightened that we are a woo team, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because he's a
Yes.
scientist, okay?
Yes.
So we have to be careful when approaching him, so that he does not get the
Yes.
idea, oh, these are the French guys. No, we are not. We try not
Yes.
to be. And that's why I think
Yeah.
it's good that we have Pierre-Luc as first, because then it's a trust thing for Przemysław Mazurek then, because he's the older guy,
Yes.
the elder guy,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know, but I mean, I don't possibly
Well,
not,
actually, I don't know either.
because he's wanting to do his doctorate. He's wanting to do a PhD on the subject, whereas Pierre has a PhD on the subject. So
He doesn't
yeah, he's the
use
one
it for
that's
his PhD because he already is a PhD, but he used it for one of his PhD doctorate students. Right?
no. So my understanding from the email was that so basically he wouldn't mind. There is a candidate for doctoral studies with a similar topic, but I don't think there's a person. I think
That's a person.
is that a person? Do you think versus it's a topic?
No, that's not. It's a person. It's a person who is studying at his university and trying to get a doctorate.
Okay.
And he's the
Okay.
doctor father. We say here.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. I interpreted that differently, so that's fine. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's absolutely fine. So if we go with Pierre-Luc first, and then we can share our discussions with him, and hopefully we can just get knowledgeable people also to contribute. Not I'm not saying we're not knowledgeable, but so please don't. That's not what I'm trying to say. But
more knowledgeable
just
people.
just it all helps. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So okay, I think we're settled with this. I'll do the presentation and I'll send the email to. I have to make notes, otherwise I'll forget all this stuff. Pierre. All right, guys. If there's nothing more we want to have on record, I'll stop recording now. You all agree?